Oh man, I can't solve these multiple choice questions. They're stumping me. I need help from a professional.
Well, that sounds like a you problem. But since you sound desperate, I'll help you. In order to solve multiple choice, you need to know these rules. Strategy 1. Read the first and last lines to see how the poet opened and closed the door to the poem's core concern. Strategy 2. Pay attention to punctuation to know how the poet has organized the flow of ideas within stanzas. Strategy 3. Read around the line number indicated in the question. 2 lines below if at the start of a stanza, 1 line above and below if in the middle, 2 lines above if at the end of the stanza. Strategy 4. Play positive and negative with the poem and eliminate the choices that are opposite of your choice. For example, the speaker's tone is positive, so eliminate all negative tone words like critical. Strategy 5. Play too broad, too narrow, or not mentioned in the poem to eliminate choices. Strategy 6. Ask why the author would write blank. What is she trying to accomplish? What she? No, it's he or she trying to accomplish by blank. Strategy 7. How's the poem organized? What are the shift in subject and tone that might help me follow the writer's ideas? Strategy 7. What words are used in an unusual way or are new to me? Can I use a sentence above and below the word to figure it out? Strategy 9. Look for extremes in the answers, always, never, universally, or loaded words, and be suspicious of selecting that answer. Strategy 10. For antecedent questions, look in the middle of the line suggested. Rarely is the answer the nearest or furthest away from the pronoun in the question. Strategy 11. Make sure all parts of your answer are true. Some answers might contain 2 ideas, one of which is not supported in the passage. Strategy 12. Rephrase, restate, paraphrase, or summarize. All are useful to capture the basic thrust of an author's writing. Strategy 13. What are the core literary devices used in the passage? How can I use my rock-solid knowledge of AP examination vocabulary to quickly eliminate 3 or even 4 possible answers? Strategy 14. Blah, 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 Robert Frost, blah, blah, blah. Are there core ironies in the poem? What is the central metaphor of the poem? Strategy 15. Can I use the title of my poem to give me a sense of the subject or tone of the poem? Strategy 16. Are there patterns or significant repetitions that I can use to get to the complexity of the poem's meanings? Okay, so let's solve some of these. Multiple choice.
Alright, well, the first really hard question says the central opposition in the poem is between A. The birds and the flowers, B. God and nature, C. Childhood and adulthood, D. The speaker in spring, or E. Reason and imagination.
Okay, so now you want to look at your multiple choice strategy list and find 3 strategies that apply to this question. So you should probably try to learn these or internalize these because they'll be really helpful for the AP exam. Okay, so I think that strategy 5 is pretty good. So we can eliminate broad, narrow, things that aren't mentioned in the poem. So let's do that now.
Let's see.
Okay, so the birds and the flowers.
Yeah, the birds and the flowers are mentioned. Yeah.
God and nature. I think that's a little vague.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think nature is mentioned.
Yeah, let's cross that out.
Let's cross that one out.
Childhood and adulthood. That doesn't seem right.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Reason and imagination and speaker in the spring.
The speaker in the spring seems pretty accurate.
Let's not get rid of anything yet. Let's look at the next strategy.
Okay.
9, no. Let's do 11 because we have to make sure all parts of the answer is true for it to be right. So, reason and imagination, the birds and the flowers, speaker in the spring. Birds and the flowers, I mean, are they fighting? I don't think so.
No. So, we can cross out
I guess
A.
Yes, we can cross out A. Let's find another strategy. That one doesn't really work that well.
What about 12?
Rephrase, restate. Yeah, I guess we could use 12. So this poem is basically about, I think it's about the speaker in the spring, because when you read it and you underlined all the words.
Yeah, most of it were about springtime and the speaker's feelings towards it.
Yeah, E is way too vague.
Yeah, so let's go with D.
Okay, let's look at the next question.
All right.
The speaker views the coming of the robin, the daffodils, and the bees as welcome arrivals, inexplicable events, painful experiences, unexpected diversions, and inspiring occurrences.
All right, so the first thing we have to do is find 3 strategies, right?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I think 1 is pretty good.
Yeah, we can definitely use strategy 1.
Read the first and last lines of the poem, okay? I read that first robin, so out there I'm thinking drums. I'm thinking.
What about unexpected diversions?
I don't think so. Well, it might be one. It might be one because it's unthinking.
Yeah.
It's not unexpected. Let's try to use another strategy. Maybe 6.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay. So I don't really think Emily Dickinson really likes spring that much.
Yeah, I kind of got that from the poem.
Yeah.
So we can cross out the ones that are about...
Yeah, I don't think it's A.
No.
'Cause it's not welcome.
No, and she also doesn't seem very inspired.
Yeah. Okay, so let's use another strategy.
Let's try 16.
Patterns or significant repetitions? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
So,
He
keeps talking about flowers,
Yeah, and there's lots of
animals, insects.
fear and hurts, stuff that is painful to the author.
Oh, would you look at that? It says
look at
painful
that,
experience.
painful
I think that's the
experiences.
answer.
That must be the correct answer.
Okay, the next one. The first shout, line 6, probably refers to. Okay, so I think that strategy 11 will be really effective for this problem. So we have to make sure all parts of our answers are true. Here's the problem. So it's like a shout, so a cry, that makes a sound. Like shouts make a sound too. So song,
Yeah.
it makes a sound.
But the dawn of a new day doesn't make a sound, so
Yeah, exactly.
that wouldn't make
so
sense. We should
I don't
cross that out.
I don't think that makes any sense at all. This makes no sense. Don't ever choose this answer. It will always be wrong. So let's decide between a cry made by the speaker and the ramen song. So let's go to the lines. I thought if I could only live till that first shout got by. So it seems like it's an external force on Emily Dickinson, the author. So I don't think she would do this.
So if it's external, it would have to be the Robin song then, right?
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
I think that's the answer.
Cool.
So-
This makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, so do you think you could do the rest of the problems by yourself?
Yeah, I can sure give it a shot. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, let's do it.
Thanks to these strategies, I can definitely do all these questions now. If I think about it, all these answers are very simple. So all I have to do is use these strategies, and I can be successful at understanding poetry.